Your parents may have bought a house, raised a family, and built savings on a single income. Today, many households have two full-time earners and still feel like they're barely keeping up. Think about that for a second. People are working longer hours, picking up side hustles, and chasing promotions. Yet somehow, the finish line keeps moving farther away. So what's going on? If hard work is supposed to lead to financial success, why do so many hardworking people feel poorer than ever? The answer isn't laziness. It's not because people suddenly forgot how to budget. And it's not because an entire generation stopped trying. The truth is much bigger than that. And once you see it, you'll understand why so many people feel like they're running as fast as possible while staying in the exact same place. For generations, the formula seemed simple. Work hard, earn a good income, save money, build wealth. That idea became part of the American dream. But for millions of people today, the math doesn't seem to work anymore. You can have a decent job, earn more than you did a few years ago, and still feel financially stressed. Your paycheck goes up, but so do your bills. Your salary increases, but somehow your savings don't. And that's because there are powerful forces working against your financial progress. Forces most people never fully understand. Today, we're going to uncover why hard work alone is no longer enough, what's quietly making people poorer year after year, and what wealthy people understand that most workers don't. Let's start with the most obvious problem. The cost of living is running away from you. Imagine a worker named Jake. 5 years ago, Jake got by reasonably well. Rent was manageable. Groceries were affordable. Filling up his car didn't feel painful. Then he got a raise. Actually, he got several raises. But instead of feeling richer, Jake feels more stressed than ever. Why? Because almost everything around him became more expensive. Housing costs increased. Food prices climbed. Healthcare became more expensive. Education costs continued rising. The problem isn't that Jake's income stayed frozen. The problem is that many essential expenses grew faster than his paycheck. And this happens so gradually that most people barely notice it. A few extra dollars at the grocery store, a slightly higher insurance bill, a rent increase here, a utility increase there. Individually, they don't seem dramatic. Together, they completely change your financial reality. That's why so many people get raises and still feel broke. But rising prices are only part of the story, because something even more powerful is happening behind the scenes. Inflation. Now, inflation sounds like one of those boring economic terms that belongs in a textbook, but its effects show up everywhere in your life. Imagine you save $10,000 and leave it untouched for years. You did everything right. You worked hard. You resisted spending. You built savings. But if prices keep rising, that same $10,000 buys less and less over time. The money didn't disappear, but its purchasing power did. Think about everyday items. The amount of money that bought a cart full of groceries years ago often buys much less today. The same thing happens with housing, transportation, healthcare, and countless other necessities. Inflation is like a leak in a bucket. Even if you're pouring water in, some of it is quietly escaping. And that's what frustrates so many people. They're following the rules. They're working. They're saving. They're being responsible. Yet they still feel like they're losing ground, which raises an important question. If workers are struggling to keep up, who is actually benefiting? The answer takes us to a game most people don't even realize they're playing. Let's compare two people. Both earn good incomes. Both work hard. Both are intelligent. But there's one major difference. The first person depends entirely on a paycheck. The second person owns assets. An asset is something that can generate value or grow over time. Things like stocks, real estate, businesses. The first person earns money through labor. The second person earns money through ownership. And that's a huge distinction, because when inflation pushes prices higher, many assets often rise in value too. A house might become worth more. A business may generate more revenue. Investments may appreciate over time. Meanwhile, someone relying only on wages often has to wait for an employer to increase compensation. This creates a gap, not necessarily because one person works harder, but because they're playing different financial games. One is trading time for money, the other is building ownership. And that's why effort and wealth don't always grow together. But even this doesn't explain everything, because plenty of hardworking people with decent incomes still struggle financially. And the reason often comes down to something schools rarely teach: how money actually works. Think about it. Most people spend years learning history, science, and mathematics, all valuable subjects, but very few people are taught how investing works, how debt works, how compound growth works, or how wealth is actually built. Imagine two people earning the exact same salary. One spends every raise immediately, the other invests part of every raise. One takes on expensive debt for things that lose value. The other uses money to acquire assets. At first, their lives look almost identical, but after 10 years, the difference can become enormous. Because wealth isn't determined only by how much money you earn. It's heavily influenced by what happens after you earn it. This is where financial knowledge becomes powerful. Understanding investing, avoiding unnecessary debt, creating additional income streams, preventing lifestyle inflation. These decisions may seem small at first, but over time, they can completely change someone's financial future. And that's the part many people never hear. You are not powerless. The system may be challenging. Inflation may exist. Living costs may rise. But understanding how money works gives you options that effort alone cannot provide. So why are so many hardworking people feeling poorer today? Because working harder doesn't automatically mean getting ahead. The cost of living continues to rise. Inflation quietly reduces purchasing power. People who own assets often benefit differently from economic changes than people who rely solely on wages. And financial knowledge creates opportunities that many people never learn about. None of this means hard work is useless. Hard work still matters. In fact, it's often where financial progress begins. But in today's economy, hard work without a financial strategy can feel like running on a treadmill. You're moving, you're sweating, you're putting in effort, but you're not getting much closer to your destination. The goal isn't just earning money. The goal is making money work for you, because the people getting ahead aren't necessarily working harder than everyone else. They're playing a different game. And now you know the rules. What's become noticeably more expensive in your life over the last few years? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy breaking down money, economics, investing, and the forces shaping your financial future, make sure to subscribe to Beast Side Theory. Because in the next video, we'll uncover who actually benefits when inflation keeps rising.